Good day. Today I'm going to tell a story I wrote recently about a movie script, for a movie script. The name of the title for the story I gave is Old Man Recluse. It's an English title. They can translate to Telugu, Old Man Recluse. Recluse means a person who is withdrawn, living by himself in a forest. They call recluse, or in the house. Jasmine and Anthony are boyfriend and girlfriend. They date for a while and they enjoy each other. They both work for a high-tech company. They're very energetic. They go to gym, they jog, they go to beach, they go to mall, they go to park. There's a lot of item songs opportunity there. And Anthony, with his high-tech colleagues, will provide some other comedy relief in this movie. Now, one weekend, Saturday or Friday night, Anthony and Jasmine decided to camp in the nearby forest. So they take the camping gear with tent and food and lanterns and drive, and then they park it in a place, and then they walk 2-3 miles deep into the forest in the water gully, a dried gully. And then they decided a campsite where they can put a tent and enjoy themselves. So there is an item song in the campfire, and also there are item song in the water gully and the waterfalls, and also an item song with animals, the deer and peacocks and all that forest. So there is an opportunity for item songs. When they are eating a dinner, they found an old man walk by. They said hello, I said hello. And they're surprised, a very old man, very weak and feeble, and wearing some worn out clothes, and with a long beard and a gray beard. And then he said, are you living alone? He says, yeah, I live alone by myself, he says, with a feeble voice. And then he says, how you live in a forest alone? Well, I've been living for last 24 years. I get used to be living here, So I'm comfortable living alone, he says. They offered him some coffee. He thanks and he eagerly drinks because he didn't drink coffee for years. They have a chat, and then he will say, the old man says, my name is Narasimham, and I live here. And then he says, if you don't mind, I can take you to my cottage. Suspiciously, Jasmine and Anthony follow not too far from their campsite. Around a few minutes walk, they take it to his dilapidated wooden shack. Just one room wooden shack, made with thatched roof and a small cot inside and a line, for drying clothes outside. And then a fire outside, a fire you can use with. He says, how you are living so long without any supplies, Because he says, I just kill small animals, and then I fish a lot. I eat a lot of fish, and then I just live with the roots and some tubers and some other plants. They grow by a lot of fruits here, sitafal and some mango trees, and then there goa. So I live comfortably, he says. But why you live alone? Why you left the town? He says, Narasimha says, it's a long story, but I'll tell you because I don't have that many years left. 25 years ago, I worked in the city council as an assistant to a councillor named Bhupati. He is a very powerful man. He's a city councillor. And then there was an election for mayor, and the sitting mayor name is Gangaraju. So he won the mayor post, Bhupati. So he tells Gangaraju that there is a guy who is going to give money for your election campaign if you can come outside the town near a temple, a dilapidated temple. So they somehow draw Gangaraj to the temple. There's a temple so he comes, he's a greedy man and money is good. So he goes there, and then Bhupati, with the help of his two assistants, and those are Damodar and Ganapati, his right hand man, stabbed Gangaraj to death, killed him. And then Narasimham is there, he's watching all this. They give all the weapons to him to throw it away. And then they carry dead body. They all three or four of them, including Narasimham, go drive or take it, his body, and then dump it and put it in a shallow grave in the forest. And then they come away, and then Bhupati becomes a mayor, and then he becomes a political a force to reckon with the city. He became a sitting MLA, and then he had a lot of businesses like restaurants, malls, and shops, and he got shades and everything, being a strong politician. So that is the story about Bhupati. I left, I don't know what happened to him. I have no touch with the people at all. I lived by myself. So I'm going to die in a few years, so I'm telling the truth. So he showed the grave place. There's all of trees and vines grow up on the burial ground, but that is the place he was buried. If somebody dig, they can find the skeleton remains of Gangaraj, he says. And these are surprising, such a strange story, a dark story told by an old man, Narasimham. And they said, okay, and then they spent a few minutes with him, and then they left him at his house. They go back to campsite, they enjoy themselves, they return to the city to work. But these two are very energetic people, they're very curious. So they go to a newspaper office and dig up the old files, from archive. They found a report of missing ground, a missing man, and they found the report, what happened to it, you see? And then what happens is they see the report of a missing person. The mayor was missing and his wife reported missing. And the wife told the police, the newsprint says that Bhupati invited her husband and he never returned. And she reported about Bhupati, but no action was taken. That was it. So they went to police station with this copy of the newspaper report, This is what happened. Is there any cold case? They look at the files and say, yeah, there was a missing mayor report, but nothing came out. We could not find who was responsible for his missing, or he was dead, or he was murdered. We don't know. But then these people are persistent, Anthony and Jasmine. They talked to the inspector, and the inspector said, and they told the story about the old man. Narasimham told that Gangaraj's body was buried, and he showed the burial ground. So, reluctantly the inspector agrees to go along with them. They all go to the forest again, and they meet the old man Narasimham, and Narasimham showed the location. So with a big police crew, they come back again to dig up the grave and found the skeleton remains, and that was sent it to forensics to identify the body. Of course, there's a lot of police, two policemen who walk through the gully, the gravel road where the streams in the rainy season. So there's a lot of comedy between the police. They're falling and rising, and then there's a lot of comedy relief between the policemen trying to reach the cottage of Narasimham. So eventually the forensic specialist identified body as the dead man, Gangaraju, and his wife was notified. She was very sad that no action was taken against Bhupati. But they had to have a good proof, not just a word of Narasimham. But Narasimham told two peons who worked at the municipal office along with Bhupati, the people who involved in the death of Gangaraju, Ganapati and Damodar. But Damodar retired and died, but Ganapati retired and living in a small house. So the inspector, along with Anthony and Jasmine, go and interview him. First of all, he denies any involvement in the murder of old mayor or ex-mayor Gangaraju, but eventually he will tell the truth because he's kind of an alcoholic, he's always a drinking problem, and he has a lot of health issues. He's dying from the liver cirrhosis of liver for over drinking. So, and then he tells that the whole story, how Bhupati invited Gangaraju to the outside temple to pay cash and then stabbed him to death. And they did not, he says Damodar and Ganapati did not stab, it's only Bhupati who stabbed him to death, but they helped him to carry the body along with the old man Narasimham to the forest to bury them there. So with this evidence, first-hand evidence, they put a case against murder, Bhupati, and charged him for murder case. Of course, Bhupati has a lot of lawyers fighting in the court. Well, afterwards, he was found guilty and sent to jail for life for murdering the ex-mayor of this town, Gangaraju. And then they go back, Anthony and Jasmine go back with a lot of groceries and some items needed, bed sheets, coffee, things like that, and give it to Narasimha. He was happy to collect them, but he says he don't need them. But they said, we'll be in touch with you. You are responsible for putting Bhupati behind bars. So there's a lot of opportunity for songs between Anthony and Jasmine near the campsite, in the camp night, in the forest along with the animals, and a waterfall dance. So there's a lot of opportunity to go to discotheque and dancing, and a comedy relief from the police also is there. So it's a good story. I wrote, and I can write the script if somebody is interested in making this movie, and it can release on internet like Netflix or Amazon or YouTube. You are welcome to contact me at subba4@msn.com. Subba, SUBBA 4, like a number 4, @msn.com. Thank you and bye.